I've got the stream on. I'm going to test it.
Let's see if we're getting any. Are we getting any audio there?
A few second delay. Hold on.
Okay. All right, so we're just yeah. I'm agreeing to this.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
we're
They
good
can
now.
hear us now. Yep. We're
Awesome.
good.
Okay,
Sorry, guys.
so let's go back. Let's redo it. Sorry, guys. A little glitch. We're learning. All right, so I'm Maeve. I am the master of ceremonies. We've got DJ playing Tobias up top. Say hi, DJ.
Hello.
We got Kyle playing Father Williams.
Hey,
We've got Aiden, who's playing Rory.
Hi.
And we have Nick, who is playing Lucius.
What is happening?
All right. So last time you guys were hanging out at Rory's gym when a local young gang member comes in, all beat up, terrified, gives you a scary story about ghost girls and turning into a cat, which seemed really weird. But you guys found a piece of what appeared to be some sort of poem that was on him that didn't make a whole lot of sense to you at the time. But you decided to trek it over to Father William's church to see what you could do. Father William and Lucius were hanging out at the church when they discovered the dead body of another gang member who had another piece of what seems to be the same piece of poetry or lyrics. You're not really sure yet. You went back, had another talk with this kid, learned that there was some problems between the local crime family, the Lazzaros, and the gang called the Bricks. And tensions have been pretty high over the past 6 months, but they've calmed down. And your friends seem to think that there could be some issues going on, and some of this gang war could be started back up. So you guys went to investigate, got into a little scuffle with some of the older members of the Bricks, and as you were figuring out what was going on, you heard this haunting melody that echoed Father Williams' own strange rift as it drifted away and left you guys standing in the rain in an alley with a crying gang member. But we're not going to start there. Today we are going to step back in time about a year ago. We're going to be at Rory's gym. Rory isn't here right now, though. He is out doing something else. But Tobias, who has just gotten out of prison and is making his refuge in the gym, helping out, getting back into Old Town as well as he can, is doing his daily routine. So, Tobias, what does your daily routine look like over at the gym while you were helping out?
Well, in the morning, it looks like getting the gym ready for opening. So that means mopping up, making sure that there are mostly clean towels out for people, getting the place in as close to presentable as Roy's gym ever gets. Atlas has seen better days, but it's still a beacon of the community, which I knew to come here.
You're a
And
little quiet right now. Can you fix audio? Audio disappeared over when we.
all right, let me try again.
Okay,
So, is that a little better?
a little bit better. Can everybody else hear him? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the morning routine at Atlas is mopping up the floors, getting out some mostly clean towels. A lot of what happens at Atlas is kind of an as good as it gets kind of situation at this point. It's seen better days, but it's still, a bastion of the community. It's how I knew to come here. After getting out, I knew that if I came to Old Town, that this would be a place I could at least hang my hat for a couple days.
All
And
right.
while doing that, making sure we're getting the place ready for opening. Before Miss Mia comes in and dresses me down because I forgot to wipe something down.
Well, as you're working out, cleaning out some stuff, it's a pretty slow day. It's probably like a Monday afternoon. Nothing really going on. The sign says open, but nobody's been in all day. Um, you hear the doorbell jingle, and this man strides in, and he is all angles. He is just as sharp as any person can be. His face, the cheekbones are sharp and angular. His nose is sharp and angular. His immaculate Armani suit is just pure angles. And as he's walking in, he puts his phone down, kind of hold. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Like, this place is disgusting. Yes, yes, yes. I know. I know. All right." And he hangs up the phone and he looks at you and he says, "Oh, hello, just the person I was looking for." Yes,
That's
you.
fact.
He says, "Oh, excuse me. My name is Dorian Lazaro. And I have a proposition for you if you're interested."
Just part of me, it's like out of character. Part of me feels I'm going to regret this, but go on.
He says, "Well, how can I put this? My family has contacts, and we've been watching you since you got your release. And well, to be frank, we were watching you while you were locked up. And let me say, my father was very, very impressed with your little incident in the prison." And he kind of smiles at you and he says, "I think you know what we're talking about. You know, the one that nobody else can really explain."
What do you want? And choose your next words very carefully.
He says, "All right, all right, all right. No need for violence. I'm not. I'm not one for violence. I'm where the money is, and that's what I want to offer you. Significant amounts of money when we need it to handle problems that are of the weirder persuasion."
I'm listening.
All right. He says, "So you're well aware that things in this city aren't necessarily as they seem. And from the incident that happened to you in the prison, I'm sure you're well aware that most people don't notice when those things happen. Most people tend to move them around in their heads or just flat out forget them, or maybe just like mistake them for something else completely. And that, well, that works in our favor because that lets us take care of business that everyone else doesn't need to know about. I mean, it's mostly, for the good of Old Town. We're here too. I know everybody thinks that we moved in, that we're gentrifying the place, but really we're trying to help out here. This is, this whole neighborhood is just awash with crime, and we're trying to make things better. But we need someone on the street to handle it when the weirder stuff happens, because that's not always good for everybody else, and it's certainly not good for us when somebody with a lot of power decides to step up and be a problem. We're willing to offer a healthy retainer, and we're willing to let you build a team if you'd like. We know there are other people around the neighborhood that have this kind of specific abilities. The thing is, all we ask is that when a job comes up, you consider it. You don't even have to take it. You don't even have to accept it. Father just says you just have to consider it."
Okay. Hear me out. I understand that you're looking for a very particular set of skills. And that whatever you saw when I was on lockdown made you think that I had them. And I'm honestly not in much of a position to say no to money right now. But I have terms.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
People that run this gym we're in, this gym that you find disgusting, they're good people. They are people who are sometimes in hard times, but there's there are people who are not involved in this. I might ask one of them.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I might ask one of them for help, but what I need from you and your people is to not come into this place. You need us, you contact me directly, and you leave Atlas Gym out of this as the pillar of the community that it is, and one of the places that your family and families like you haven't touched yet. I can understand that you need some people on the street, you need people on the inside, and you need people who have some experience with the things that I have experience with. I can respect your offer and I can accept your offer, but only under those conditions.
He stops for a second. He arches his eyebrow. Well, the good news for you is that we can agree to those terms. As a matter of fact, the owner of this establishment is under a certain level of protection. It seems somebody else is much more interested in his future than we are. So, yeah, nope, not a problem. You can absolutely have no interest from us in this specific business.
I understand you came here with your umbrella pitch or whatever, but if you're here, it's for a specific reason right now. So, what's going on?
And he says, "Well, I have a proposal for you. Then I'll just leave this here." And he slides an envelope on the table, and he says, "My phone number's in there. Get back in touch with me when you can. The numbers are on the envelope too. Have a good day." And he turns and walks out. And that is where we will go back to our scene. So you guys left off, and you were in a rainy alleyway on the very tail end of a Sunday night. It was cold. You've heard this terrible, terrible, despondent sounding song. And you have a crying gang member who is just beat the crap out of Rory, but is now curled in the fetal position, weeping like a baby. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna like spit some blood and start to stand up and kind of half kick the kid that beat me. Cheap shot.
He whimpers.
Yeah, me too, kid. All right. So he fishes out another cigar from somewhere. What are we gonna do about this?
Just kind of looking around. It's like, well, we came here for information. Let's get that information. We don't need to loiter.
Is he gonna be okay?
He'll be fine. I kind of just stare at him for a second and then look away. It's like he's just distraught.
Think be any use to us for information, or we're gonna have to go track somebody else down?
Well, there are still a couple others that there was one that in particular that was like willing to look like he was starting to be convinced to talk, or at least help us out, or at least not attack us, I guess. So he'd probably be the easiest to persuade, I would think.
That's a start.
Well, I guess we're tracking him down. Anybody see where he went?
You guys didn't get too good of a look at when they all kind of ran off. They ran off towards the dock area, which is where they, you know, that their hideout is specifically. But this guy on the ground hasn't really moved yet. He's just still kind of like shuddering on the ground.
I'll lean over him and just kind of try to snap him to, just gently kind of try to bring him back to reality, if you will.
He kind of stops and he looks up at you, and his nose is like pouring down, and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Father Williams. I'll make it to church next week. I promise. I promise.
Don't worry, son. Your sins are forgiven as long as you ask for forgiveness and you're sincere about it.
He goes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He says, I mean, we're just all scared. Like, we don't know what's going on. We were out here looking for our people.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I don't know, I saw you guys and I thought, like, maybe you had something to do with it. Because it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to us either, son. We're trying to help, try to figure out what's going on. We've been trying to help some of the others because we found, like I said, a couple of your companions. One of them had a traumatizing incident, and the other one was dead. So we're just trying to help.
Yeah, he said. He kind of stops and he says, It's gotta be those damn Lazaros. It's gotta be them.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but like, what facts do we have? Do you have anything that points to them?
I mean, besides the fact that they basically ran a turf war on us for like 6 months, besides the fact that they've got more money than any of us would ever have, and they've got all the power at the high level. I mean, like, who else is going to hire somebody strong enough to take out a group of 6 of us? Like, come on. That's a professional hit. Like, this is getting, like, for real.
Well, from what we heard, there's a difference between a professional and what happened. If your friend is to be believed, he said he was turned to a cat. That doesn't sound like... I don't know what that sounds like, to be honest.
It sounds crazy to me, man. But like, all
Exactly.
I know is that you said you found 2. So that means 6 more dudes are still missing. And these are tough kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kids. Like, why would these Lazaros go after? They were just the kids. They weren't even the older guys.
Was there anything that happened before this incident? Like, were you guys just hanging out? Was there any incidences?
No, we just sent them out to patrol like they always do. Like, it makes them feel good to wander around the outskirts of our turf and, puff up, be, toughs or whatever. Like, we take care of the real business. We let them go, like, run around and show their colors or whatever. It's no big deal. But, like, it shouldn't have been a big deal. It should have been easy. But then they didn't come back. And, when we got here, like, we hadn't heard from any of them in a while. They've all just disappeared. It's been hours.
You got a list of who's missing? Or who went?
He goes, I know who they are.
Write it down, genius. Look, if we know 2 of them are here, we can kind of figure out who we're looking for.
He kind of eyeballs you, and he says, Look, I'm going out on a limb just telling you guys this. Why should I trust you? Like,
look, it's either us coming through and trying to figure this out, or you got Detective Rodriguez.
Yeah, nobody wants to deal with that bitch. Listen, like, yeah, I can give you a list of the guys, but they're not answering their phones. Nothing, man. They just went ghost on us.
We can find them. We just need you to give us a list so we're not chasing every brick in the city.
He goes, I carry a notepad on me. He goes, pulls out his phone and says, give me your number. I'll text it to you.
Texting anybody?
I got it.
Jesus,
You can
boomers.
send the list to me, and I'll give him my contacts.
Okay. And he'll put in, and he'll run a list of names for you. Some of them are people you know. Some of them are people that you have no clue. You've never heard of before. But there's a couple kids on there that you know in particular, just from around the city. And he's like, look, man, like, if you can find these kids, that would be great. We're gonna keep looking for them, obviously, but like, you know, we're not in this to let anybody get hurt. We're not in this letting kids get hurt. Like, that's not. There are
Now, I
kids.
do need one thing from you, though. If you
Yeah.
find somebody, let somebody at Atlas know.
All right. Yeah, I got you. Can I get out of
And
here before they call me a snitch? Like, can I go?
give you a black eye so you can say you fought and won.
He kind of looks at you. He looks at your jaw. He says, "I kind of did, old man."
Get out of here before I beat you.
And he scurries off. Tobias, you get another beep on your phone. It's a
Okay.
message from Dorian, and it just says, "Did you want the job or not?"
All right, I keep getting pings from Dorian as well, guys. Here's the thing: if this is a Lazaro matter, we could get some kind of insight into it if we take a Lazaro job right now. But if it's not, it could take us out of our way. So we have a decision to make.
And it's also working for that home.
Say again?
It's also working for that home. Oh, what's the good English word for that? Donkey.
Understood. I completely agree with you. But like I said, it's a good. I mean, honestly, it's not a good lead, but it's the only lead we got right now.
Lucius steps up and says, I'm down for the money. Let's go for the money. I could use some money. Let's go for the money.
You can always use money, Lucius.
It's all about money, son. Sometimes you want to do the right thing for the right thing. These kids need help. I personally think finding missing kids is a little more important than some rich person just wanting a random job. But I won't argue with the group.
I agree, but what? Other than having a list of these kids' names, what do we have to go on right now? If it is a Lazaro job, and let's be honest, like you said, it's not impossible. Then striking this iron while it's hot could help us find some way forward. And I mean, none of us are in a position where we can really say no to a couple of dollars.
God always provides.
You say that, but you also know that the Lazaros have definitely put a lot in the tithe pot in the past couple of years at your church. You don't like it, but they have.
God may provide, but those tithes and offerings what go into the building fund. So what we're gonna do?
I'd say we put it to the group vote.
Yep.
Everybody makes their vote.
Lucius raises his hand. Money? That's it.
2 in favor.
Tobias, do you know if we made rent this month?
I don't, but you feel like it's an even better reason why we should probably take this job.
Yeah.
I think so, but I cannot say that with confidence.
Midas does seem a little more pissed than usual. I'm gonna go if we haven't. Yeah, that's probably probably we should.
All right. Well, it's your car anyways, so.
All right, so you guys hop in the car and travel along the way to the more the newer side of Old Town. So the Lazaros bought up several blocks of old mills and things like that, and they have turned them into a couple of high sales stores, some kind of studio apartments, a couple dog parks, and a pretty nice art gallery. But the weird thing about Old Town is that despite the fact that these are all brand new buildings, they already feel old. They've only been like 2 or 3 years, and they're like there's just a feeling of age that's crept into them. The veneer seems to wear off almost immediately of anything that kind of comes into Old Town. So, like, despite the fact that it's all brand new, it feels like the Old Town is just throwing a layer of grime onto it, taking the shine off. And as you pull up to the art gallery, you see that it just says Lazaro Art Gallery. They didn't even really go for a big surprise there or anything, flashy. There is there's a man, an older man, waiting at the door, and he sees you coming. And he says, "Oh, Mr. Tobias, we haven't seen you in a while. Was Mr. Dorian expecting you?"
He was.
This is very well, very well. If you will have a seat in the lobby, I will go find him. And you walk into just an absolutely it's just an ostentatious place. Like, the art is all weird modernist. Like, there's all of this strange minimalist stuff. There's a Banksy. They obviously like have it there because it's popular, but it doesn't seem to have any like level of importance. It's just, you can tell that this place is for people that like art because art gives money, maybe not liking art for art's sake. And it feels a little sterile and a little uncomfortable for any of you who are used to a more like downscale sort of place. And after a few minutes, Dorian comes downstairs, and since our flashback, 2 years hasn't changed him much. He's still full of angles. He's still wearing a pressed Armani suit. Everything about him is just as smooth as it can be. And he says, "Oh, the whole gang's here. Hello. Thank you for coming in such a timely fashion."
Rory is smoking a cigar and just doesn't care. He's probably in his was it one of those long brown coats, the overcoats,
Yeah, like a trench coat.
trench coat, yeah. Some like kind of halfway decent dress pants and a wife beater.
Yeah, he gives you the once over, and he goes, "Mr. Rory, always a pleasure. Father Williams," he nods to you. He looks over at Lucius. He goes, "Lucius."
Lucius stands up real quick and, "Hi, Mr. Lazaro."
He goes, "Make sure that your pockets are empty when you leave, please. This time, thank you. I'm still not sure where those cufflinks went, but well, I hope they did someone some good." He says, "So I have a very important matter that Father needs taken care of almost immediately." He says, "There is a musician in town. His name is Ambrose Morgan. You've maybe heard of him. He's a major composer, has won multiple awards. Is basically one of the geniuses of our time. Unfortunately, one of your problems has befallen him, and he has stumbled on a relic of some sort. Father hasn't given me all the full details yet, but we need you to bring it from his apartment downtown to here, where we can keep it safe. Apparently, it is a very, very dangerous item. And Mr. Morgan has contacted us specifically to come get it. So, because it's of a rather sensitive nature, and because we don't want to draw a lot of attention to Mr. Morgan, I am having you guys take care of it. That being said, it is apparently a very, very dangerous item, so I would proceed with caution. If you do bring it back, the usual retainer will find its way into your bank accounts. No problem. Yeah, we just need it back here as soon as possible. Don't stop. Once you get a hold of it, bring it back here immediately. Apparently, this item is of, Father just said it was incredibly dangerous. That it would be dangerous to even fully disclose what the nature of the item is.
So you're telling us we need to find an objet d'art and bring it back, and you can't tell us what it looks like?
Ambrose will let you know immediately. He was very distraught, and he has it in his possession. Hopefully, it's secure. But yes, it is a very dangerous item, imbued with some of the strange powers that we've seen around the city so far. And it would be much better in our hands than it would be in someone who is less responsible for it.
Are we to presume that moving the object is going to cause the problem? Because if it's dangerous and he has it and he's holding it, that would assume that it's not a danger to him immediately. But the
I'm
danger
not
is
going to
moving it.
lie to you. It is very possible that moving it could also be dangerous. I'm not saying this will be easy. I'm saying get it back here as soon as you can. It is more dangerous in his possession than it is in our safe, locked away.
Before we head off to do this, I have a couple of questions. It's been a very strange couple of days.
All right.
Some of the members of the Brick, some kids, not some of the adult members, said they were accosted by some, I think it said a young girl, almost like a spirit. And the one that found us said that he was trying to run away and turn into a cat. The other one that found us showed up outside the church dead. I don't know if it's connected, and I don't know what you know, but I can feel it in my bones that you got to know something. And I know you don't do anything for free, so here's what we can do.
I mean, come on, it's a dead kid.
Perhaps the better way to go about this, since you're an educated man, have you heard the phrase, little white flowers will never awaken?
He stops for a second. He goes a little pale, which is surprising because he's a pretty pale person. And he goes, "Where? Where did you hear that?"
So when we found these young men that we were just talking about, they had slips of paper in their pockets. And one of them had that written on it.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit.
Okay. I need you to stay here for a second. I will be right back. Don't move. And he practically flies. You've never seen this guy non-pulse before, but he is clearly upset and clearly a little scared. And he flies upstairs. He's gone for about 5 minutes. Do you guys have a conversation while he's gone?
I'm walking around and almost bump into like some kind of little vase or something, and it almost falls, and I grab it and put it back on it. Good.
Have any of y'all seen Dorian Panic before?
Can't say I have. I'm also watching Lucius to make sure he doesn't steal anything.
Lucius, none of this stuff looks like it would. You don't understand why any of this is worth anything. Like,
And nothing's pocket sized, so I'm not a threat.
there's literally a picture of a Coke can. It's literally a photograph of a Coke can, and you don't understand it at all. It doesn't make any sense.
Lazaro knows the name of the game.
You see Lucius in the corner staring at this picture, and he goes, "I'm thirsty," and that's it. Not paying attention to what's going on. You just look at this Coke can.
I have seen Lucius worried a little once. That was my night of the big break, but I don't want to talk about that.
I won't cry.
Yeah, I'll probably just look around. Is there anything that looks like not modern art but old?
No, it looks like it's all modern art in this particular room. You do know there are a couple other rooms in the gallery where there's not a lot of public display. You guys have been kind of back through everything, and you know that upstairs are personal offices and a couple studio apartments that belong to Mr. Lazaro and Dorian and their daughter Leona. But other than that, like, this room has everything. Everything is for the public here. Everything is like, a picture perfect.
Yeah. Then I'd probably want to give it much heed. I would just kind of cursory glance, look at it. I'm like, oh, I never understood modern art.
You know what?
See
The stairwell going up, is it a door and then the stairs going up, or is it a stairway, like a hallway, and then...
It is like a grand stairway going up to an upper level, and there are doors kind of off to each side. And he scurried upstairs and then went through the biggest set of doors.
Lucius is going to go up there, kind of meander his way up there, and just kind of keep an ear out and kind of just be observant.
All right, you make your way up there, and just about at the point where you're just kind of bored enough to start heading back down, the door kind of like blows open, and this massive man steps out of the door. He is also wearing a very immaculate suit. He has this big head of white, sort of like shoulder length, but white and gray, kind of like frizzy looking hair. He has a thick gray beard, and you know that this is Mr. Lazaro, that this is the Mr. Lazaro. You've never met him before. You might have seen him on TV a couple times, but you've always dealt with Dorian, or you've always dealt with Leona. You've never met this man before. And when he steps through the door, for just a second, you get this like rumble of thunder that seems to follow after him in this like echo as his footsteps come down he kicks the door open and his footsteps come down the steps, and he is adjusting his collar and just his cufflinks, and he walks right by you, Lucius. Doesn't actually even seem to notice you, despite the fact that you probably jumped like 10 feet when it happened. And he says, gentlemen, I appreciate you doing this for us. It seems that some more information is warranted. Please explain. Dorian was giving me a small explanation, but if you guys could be more succinct, I would appreciate what is finding out what's going on here. And hopefully I can give you some information as well.
So yesterday, a young man came into Atlas who was one of Rory's students for a while, had doing some homework, before he dropped out to do full-time, thug life thing for Bricks. He goes on about him and a bunch of goons he was with, apparently some of the younger kids, not really the adults, according to some other people we talked to. We're doing a patrol. They were jumped by, they said, a teenage girl. and apparently it was just whatever happened. It was a complete mess. One of them showed up outside of the church dead. This guy showed up to Antonio. It was Pedro, the bodega owner. His son was wound up dead outside the church. This guy comes up into Atlas talking nonsense about turning into a cat. And both of them had these slips of paper in their pockets that had these lines from something. I don't know what. Father William seemed familiar with it, though.
He nods. He says, I was afraid of this. 3 of our men disappeared in a similar instance 3 days before. The one of them who managed to survive described a young girl as well, with the same. He says, 1 second, and he takes up his phone and he pulls it up and he says, what you are hearing, gentlemen, is a song. And unfortunately, the song is the same one that our friend Ambrose is currently in possession of. Have you, any of you, ever heard of the Hungarian suicide song, as it is colloquially named? Or, I guess its proper name is the song Gloomy Sunday.
Is this something that any of our characters would have, like...
Probably, I mean, maybe not. Like, it depends on how much you know 1930s, how much your character would be interested in 1930s music.
Oh, hey, Maeve, should we mention that the suicide thing is a thing for the rest of the...
That is a good point.
We weren't able to get that warning thing up like we wanted.
That is a good point. So, that is a good point. We'll take a break here for just a second. Yes, everyone who is watching, there are going to be some, just a content warning, there are going to be some mentions of self-harm or suicide. Obviously, nothing will ever be on screen, but if that is something that bothers you, just know that that is a theme that we'll be going through, but it's not going to be anything graphic. We wouldn't do anything graphic on screen. It will just be mentioned. So, proceed with as you will. Like, we don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. But he says, so, here's the basis. The song, written in the 1930s by a Hungarian author. It is linked to potentially close to 70 different suicide instances. No one's been ever able to verify it, but news channels took it off air. They asked for singers to stop singing it, and somehow our friend Ambrose has come into contact with the original sheet music, which has itself been imbued with some of the same powers that people like yourselves have found themselves imbued with. He has asked us to take care of it and lock it up for him because it is apparently and obviously very dangerous item. But it sounds like the influence of this item is already spreading. It's connected to someone else. So that makes this mission that we need you for all the more dangerous. And it seems like you're already wound up in it, but clearly someone is coming after both of us, both my men and the members of the Bricks.
Who would want to do that?
He shrugs and he says, in this business you make many, many enemies. It is a long list, I'm sure, that want to knock me off the throne. but that is something we'll have to figure out when we get there. The first priority, though, is getting control of this relic. If this sheet music were to make it into the hands of whoever it is, I can't see it being good by any means. He kind of sighs. He looks at Dory and he goes, "How much did you offer them?" And he says, "Oh yeah, Dad, the normal, right? Normal retainer. I'll double it. If you'll do
You hear
this."
Lucius upstairs go, "We need to triple it."
You want to roll a convince?
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna do sense of belonging, as if authoritative, like I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I do convince, and I add +1 for the authoritative. Is that
You
right?
can add anything else?
Talk my way out of anything.
You're kind of
But I
talking
do-
your way into this one.
That's
I don't
true.
know if that
No,
counts.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, we'll just do the 1. Let's see what
Okay.
happens.
A 10. Yeah. He
You're welcome,
is.
y'all.
He's gonna nod and he says, "If you're willing to do this for me, yes, we will triple our offer. I am not responsible though for anything that would happen to you along the way. This is definitely a little more dangerous than the typical. If we already have multiple people missing or dead. But you guys know what you're doing, right?" And he kind of looks more at you, Tobias, than anybody else.
Look, we have your terms. You have ours. What do you think, fellas?
Lucius
God will
straight down the
provide.
stairs and is just nodding.
I want to know why the picture of a can of Coke is 50 grand. Really, 50 grand?
He
Please focus.
What?
he looks over. He goes, "That is an
Sorry.
authentic Austin Wallace. It is probably one of the most expensive paintings we have here." He kind of shrugs. He goes, "I don't understand it either. That's Leona's thing. But it sells. People want it. It's weird."
He just shakes his head.
I feel like we best move soon. We don't want any other murders or any other incidences.
He nods. He says, that would absolutely be for the best. So here is the address, and he writes down the address to Ambrose's apartment for you. And he says, "Do you have a vehicle, or do you need to borrow?"
I was just about to
something?"
ask I was just about to ask if we could take the transport van because I don't know if Rory's car is going to make it.
Hey,
He kind of looks outside.
it's a 4-door Yugo. Okay, it'll be fine.
He says, "1 second, please." Walks to inside one of the offices, grabs a set of keys, and tosses it to you. He said, that's the van we use to transport." He kind of stops for a second. He goes, "Art, back and forth. Just bring it back in one piece if you can." And he says, I don't have to stress to you, once you get a hold of this thing, we don't know what the effect of it will be. You need to get it back to us as soon as possible."
As long as we get off the street.
Good luck, gentlemen. You'll need it.
I don't need luck. God is on my side. And I nod.
I'll take your luck. I always need it.
And I'll
All
just
right.
not head out without saying a word.
All right, and sure enough, there is it's actually a pretty nice cargo van as far as cargo vans go. It's feels a little more sturdy than Rusty's than the rusty old Yugo. Um, and yeah, you guys head across town. So by this point, it's like starting to be like 2 in the morning. It's pretty late. Father, you've been up for a long time. Like, it's been a long day for you. I don't know how the rest of you have slept all day, but clearly Father Williams has probably done a couple sermons today, and then all of this. It's a lot going on. So you get to this high class apartment building. It's valet parking. The valet kind of steps up as you get there, and holds his hand out for the keys, hands you the ticket, and you are looking at this is it's maybe not Trump Tower, but it's a very nice building.
Think he's compensating for much?
You walk in through the front doors, and you know that he is on the 21st floor. So, do you guys take the elevator or you take the stairs?
I'm assuming elevator.
Okay.
I know it's
Elevator's
just been
fine.
hiking it up, yeah.
And this elevator even has a guy in the elevator. Like, that's the kind of place this is. You even got a guy who looks at you and kind of gives you an eye for a second, especially Rory. He's looking a little scruffy there, kind of. 21st, and pushes the
Yes.
button, and up you go. And he does his very best to pretend you are actually not in the elevator with him as he goes up.
I'll take a shower this morning. It's okay.
Once you get to the 21st floor, it opens up into an opening, basically like foyer, that has a door, double doors leading into an interior apartment. So this looks like the whole floor is just this apartment.
Very nice digs.
A lot of people could live here. It's a shame.
Yeah, well, sometimes a guy needs to stretch out a little.
All right,
You
so
know,
you're looking
I'm
at
just
the
at a
front
place-
doors. How are you in? How are you getting?
Just approach the front door and knock.
Okay.
No need to take anything weird right now.
You knock on the door, and there's a scrabbling. You hear it almost sounds like somebody's knocking something over. It's not loud, but it's definitely noticeable. And a very quiet, sort of reedy voice says, "Who is it? Who's there?"
Girl Scout cookies.
Ignore him. We are here to help. We've been sent by Mr. Lazaro to handle your problem.
The door opens so fast that you don't even get a chance to finish the sentence. And there is this man. You guys have probably seen him when you're flipping through channels on like PBS or something, doing these big concerts, or maybe you've seen him on the news. But this guy is not looking like he normally would. He's in a bathrobe. The bathrobe looks like he's probably been in it for a couple days. Huge bags under his eyes. His thinning hair is like spiked, like he almost looked like he's Jack Nicholson, kind of like crazy hair. His glasses are askew. You kind of look behind him and you see that like his apartment is strewn with papers and things have been turned over. You see stacks of plates, like nobody's cleaned up in a couple days, maybe a week. And he says, "You're here for Mr. Lazaro? You're here to take it away?"
Yes.
He goes, "Oh, thank God. Thank God. Okay. Yeah. That's it. You just need to take it away. If you take it away, everything will be fine, right? Everything is gonna be
Sure,
fine.
kid. Everything's gonna be just peachy.
And he goes to step away from you, and then just starts sobbing on the ground. And he
Where
just no.
where is it?
Okay, no. I'll get it. You probably shouldn't touch it. And he goes over to the piano, and you see that there's sheet music on the piano. And as he walks up to the piano, he starts like pressing a key. He's just pressing. He just seems to be absently like pressing the key.
You may want to stop him. I'd look at like Rory or Tobias to basically tackle him and stop him.
I go and grab his hand forcefully.
Okay, give me a go toe to toe.
All right. I want to run. Let's see. Boxing teacher, because I'd have to separate people
Okay.
when they're sparring, and then probably like heavy right hand to be forceful.
Okay.
So that'd be a +2.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
I got a 6. I failed.
Yeah. Yes, you did. Hold on 1 second. Sorry.
As Rory is trying to restrain him from playing the song, I will very quietly slip my right foot out of one of my shoes. And as I see that he is failed heroes, he's a big fella, and use some of my mythos to make the floor shake and throw off his balance. Not
Okay.
to like toss him into the air, but just enough to like get him to destabilize him.
All right. So, let's roll. This will be a change the game.
I feel like I slipped on like some papers or something and like kind of went forward a little bit too much.
Yeah, and he just kind of like almost preternaturally quickly just dodges out of your way. Like he seems to move like he's moving slow and scared, and then the next thing you know, he just sort of dodges out of your way. So what tags are you using on your change the game?
So power works better barefoot, so I'm using that tag. Throw off opponent's footing. And because I am trying to send a tremor through the floor where he's trying to play the piano, I'm going to apply the tag, the spot where would be the most effective place to kind of throw his balance off.
Okay. All right, that's a 10. So you get 3 juice, so you can spend them on either creating a story tag, you can burn a power tag or a story tag, you can give or reduce a status, you can scale up your effect to reach more area, or you can prolong the effect, you can hide the effect, or any kind of other thing that you want to agree on.
I'll hide the effect so he doesn't realize that Lazaro sent a bunch more of these like weirdos to get this weird thing back from him.
Right. Okay. That works. So yeah. Rory goes in to grab him, and he kind of ducks out of the way. And then what does it look like when your power goes off? Like, I know you're hiding the effect, but what does kind of the camera see?
The camera kind of sees, I mean, in a real dramatic fashion, they see me stomping the ground and then the earth shakes. But in this case, it would be more like tapping my foot on the ground, and it's almost like a line of like it would kind of be visualized as cracking ground, except not really cracking. It's just the ground is moving in a very pointed way, kind of towards him and the piano, and then you suddenly see the whole apparatus kind of vibrate.
Okay. So yeah, you see this. You see the ground kind of vibrate. Everything kind of shakes. He goes to like hit the notes again, and this time he really goes to do it quicker. And he literally just gets knocked off his feet. Lands on his butt, tangles himself up in the bench. Um, the papers go flying around the room, and it's about that time that there is a weird buzz from the electricity, and all of the lights in the apartment go out. And we're going to pause here. We're going to take our 5-minute break, and we're going to come back.
Yeah.
So be back in 5, guys. starting now. And we are back, everybody. So, we left off, and the lights had gone dark. The entire room is pitch black, and then you hear this kind of high whining sound, and you realize that it's coming from Ambrose. And he says, oh no, she's here. I've heard her all week, and she's here. She's here. You've got to take it. Take it now. Take it now. And you can feel him like scrambling in the dark against you, Rory, but like trying to like gather up the papers and stuff. But it is pitch black in this room at the moment. So he's not having a great time of it at the moment. What do you guys do?
The hell happened to the lights?
I'm gonna lean down and grab a handful of papers that I apparently stripped on, and take the lighter that I have and try to make a makeshift, quick little torch with the papers.
It flares up for a couple seconds, but you realize you only have a couple seconds before it's burned down. And his eyes go big. He goes, "What are you doing?"
I can't see.
And as you say that, the lights kind of flicker for a couple seconds, and you at least get enough like ambient light to sort of see what's going on. The papers for the sheet music are on the ground in front of you, Rory.
I lean down, grab them, and fold them up and shove them into one of my pockets of my trench coat.
Okay. Ambrose is just like, just get it away. Get it away from me. If you take it away, she'll leave me alone. She has to leave me alone. She's going to leave me alone. Just leave.
I start backing away from the door, kind of like glancing around and seeing if I can kind of like lean my ear to one way or the other to see if I can hear any footsteps other than my own.
I mean, if you say anything, we could talk, because if we're in the doorway, like me and Lucius, I think, are still there, so we can like guide you, just like follow our voice.
You hear knock on the window.
Don't go that way. Come towards our voices. Ignore any other strange noises.
Another very more insistent knock on the window.
I'm going to invoke my powers now and just power them up. Not necessarily do anything quite yet.
Okay, so tell us what it looks like when your powers pop up.
So I grab a necklace around my neck, and it seems to be some little small emblem or some kind of icon, and I hold it and I concentrate for a few seconds, and then at that point there is an ethereal shield and sword that pop up, and they kind of glow with like a faint bluish white glow to them, and I kind of back towards the door, covering myself and sword ready to strike at anything that might come through.
Okay. All right. And once again, as you're doing that, you hear another tap, but this time on a different window.
Don't let her in. And I keep backing up.
All right. The lights flicker on, but you realize these are emergency lights. These aren't the normal lights. These are emergency sort of backup generator lights set in. It's very low pitched. It's not. It's good enough to see, but it's not necessarily good enough to read a book or anything like that. It's very dim.
Can we see what's knocking at the window when they flicker on?
The blinds are down.
You may hear in a second. So, I, holding my Bible, speak out, "The Lord is my light and salvation. Who shall I fear?" And I'm essentially going to try to change the game.
Okay.
I'm going to try to basically create a kind of a halo of light to like illuminate the area.
Okay. What tags are you using?
So I will be using the tags of the Saved by the Lord, because I'm invoking
Okay.
indirectly. And then I will fear no evil feels particular because I'm basically using a Bible passage that states exactly that. So it's kind of a light cast away the darkness, so there's less to fear, as you can see.
Okay.
So I think I would go with the 2.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and do that.
Nice.
Oh, you guys are rolling hot. All right, so you get 2 juice. You can create a story tag. You can burn a power tag or a story tag. You can give or reduce a status. You can. So right now in this scene, we will say the status has darkness 2.
So I would just create light 2 and just basically kind of neutralize the darkness with
Okay.
the light.
It is in a small area, but like you hit an
Mhm.
11, so you can increase the level, I guess, if you wanna. If you want it to really like brighten up the whole room, you can.
Yeah, we'll just kind of center it on me, so like
Okay.
I just start glowing effectively.
So here's kind of how this scene is. You hear Father Williams say this and see him kind of hold out his Bible. Suddenly there is this bright light. But the thing is, the source of Father Williams' power is not necessarily his belief in God. It is his rift. So this light is bright, but it's not. There's something unhealthy about it. It's bright in the way of like a halogen light, and that kind of like buzzing, sort of weird and uncomfortable sense. And as it brightens the light around it, and there's this crack of light, and the shadows start to retreat, you actually see these like bestial shapes in the shadows slink backwards that were moving closer to you. And you can almost, like, once the light gets out to its full brightness, you can almost see them, something moving in the shadows, but you can't see an actual shape. You get the concept of a shape as it's moving closer to, as they're moving around the edges of the shadows. And a voice from outside the window, high pitched, definitely that of a child, but overlaid almost like on a reverb, something heavier and darker, says, "That wasn't very nice. I just want what's mine. Give it to me."
And what is yours, child? That is not God's.
The sweet, sweet music. The music. She goes, "You hear it. I know you hear it. You sang it to me. You sang the same song."
Now is not the time for singing. Sometimes we must contemplate in silence.
She says, "Well, my friends want to play. They like playing." And then you see 4 shapes start to move into the light. They appear to be made almost completely of shadow. They're about the size of like a large, probably like a large Doberman. And they have sort of a dog-like shape, but it's like, once again, it's like the concept of a shape. Like someone drew a dog, and they know what a dog looks like, but they're not a very good artist. And it's sort of like they sort of peel themselves out of the shadows and start moving towards you. We're going to enter a little bit of combat now. So once again, because we kind of breezed through it last time, you guys each get to decide amongst yourself who gets to go first, and we'll kind of move through in a narrative way. So what is it, who wants to go first, and what are you going to do as these dog shadow creatures begin to creep up on you?
I feel like I might be the closest to some of these said abominations. Um, and I'm just going to strike out with my sword and see if I can um, get it to do something. Um, I'm going to roll with, let's see, we're going toe to toe, right?
Yeah, go toe to toe is how you.
All right. I'm going to use the Claymore tag, which is my sword.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm going to invoke Unbreakable, um, but I'm also going to invoke That's Not a Knife. Um, my sword is not exactly tiny. So sometimes I have a little bit of trouble wielding it in small places, or like I might get it caught in something.
Okay,
Um, so that should
that's
go
gonna be a
to
plus
a
one
plus
total.
one.
Hmm. Okay, so you bring your sword up and you go to swing down, and it's a pretty good blow. But as you swing, and you swear you swung straight through this thing, and you watch it separate and then reform around your blade, and it lunges at you. So now I need you to make a face danger roll. You can also mark one attention on your sword and shield relic because you did invoke a weakness.
Well, that's not very nice.
And the weird thing, the creepy thing about these things is they're not making any noise.
Okay. Um, I'm going to um, invoke because I can also add things to this as well, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. I'm gonna do boxing teacher to kind of like I've done sparring. I've had to kind of be the and then kind of uh, do that. Um,
Shield would probably be a good one here.
yeah. Um, boxing teacher and shield. Um, and yeah, I think that's gonna be it. So that's gonna be a +2.
Hmm.
And let's see if my dice will work with me today.
Oh, it's a
Not really,
9.
no.
So you you deflect most of it, and you pull your shield up, and where it moved around your sword, it seems to impact into your shield. And what happens is you move your shield and you kind of push it into like the brightest point of light coming from Father Williams. And though it gets its maw sort of around part of your arm, as soon as it hits that shield, it backs off. So you will take the status bruised 1 as this like dark purple bruise starts popping up on your arm where its jaws kind of clamped around you. And you didn't feel any like specific pain there, just this like intense cold.
Mm.
All right. Who is up next?
Are these ghost dogs heading towards anybody in particular?
They look
Like
like they're
maybe
pretty much
Rory?
rounding on the whole group.
Okay. Okay. I don't need to go next. I'm just questioning.
Okay.
You haven't done anything for a while. Why don't you go next?
Yeah, then not really a fighter. I think the best thing that I can do is try to divert them in another direction. And so Lucius is going to grab a couple of the papers on the ground, that sheet music, crumple them up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to try to hightail magic parkour over the backside of them and try to get them to uh, gain some sort of disadvantage against my
Okay.
my
So we'll
my
call
party.
this. This is definitely going to be a change the game then.
Okay. And I'm going to use Uncanny Parkour Artist
Mm-hmm.
and Short Range Teleport.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm sorry, what was the roll against?
The roll is
Go
face
toe to
danger.
toe? Face danger.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And since you are doing your teleport, I am going to invoke your vertigo weakness. So you can draw attention to your mobility.
Okay.
Click the little button on it. And you are at minus, you're at a total of +1 to the move.
Total of +1.
While he's rolling that, I still have a daze 2. Can I erase that or from last session?
Yeah,
or
that's
do I
gone
have
from last session. Yeah, absolutely. So you rolled, face danger works for this too, because it's kind of what you're doing. It's not. What does it look like when you teleport? This is the first time we've seen any of Lucius's abilities.
Just to put a visual thing on it, if you guys remember Nightcrawler in the actual movie X-Men, where it just kind of the shadow just kind of floof, floof, that's what I'm envisioning of him just kind of jumping from one side of the room to the other. And once he gets to that other side, he's just going to scream, "I got your sheet music," and throws it over into the corner as far away from everybody as possible.
Okay. When you do, because you kind of blip twice, it does kind of hit your sort of vertigo. So you are a little lightheaded after you do this, but you definitely get their attention, and two of them start heading your way. So you have averted two of them off of the rest of the group. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So I will, as I see the shadowy dog figures coming up, I will reach my coat back down to my belt and realize that in the chaos that has been today's events, I actually left my hammer at home.
Oh, no.
And as a result, I'm going to have to come at these things with some good old-fashioned hand-to-hand. So I will come at one with a go toe-to-toe.
Okay.
And I will augment that using the terraforming that I do have, even without my hammer, to just, again, destabilize and give myself a better shot.
Okay.
Just nail one of these guys over the head with like a big elbow strike.
All right. That's a 9. So you can choose one. You can achieve your goal, and you can manage to achieve your goal. You can get them good, giving your opponent a status with tier 1. Or you can block, dodge, or counter their best attempts. So basically, they're going to attack you. So you're choosing to give them good. All right. So you come in with an elbow. Are you hitting the one that's on Rory, or are you hitting the one that's still coming at the rest of the group?
I'm hitting the one that's on Rory.
Okay, so you come in and just slam down on it. It's already recoiling from Father William's bright light, and you slam down on it. You give it what's your status 1? What do you call this?
It's just smash it over the head, just stunned.
Stunned. Okay, stunned 1. And it as you smash your elbow down into it, you feel this intense chill, almost numbness run up your arm. So you will take the status numb 1 as your arm kind of goes cold, just hitting the essence of whatever these things are. And at that point, Ambrose sort of screams and he says, "Don't fight them, just run! Take the music and run!" And the one that hasn't gone for anyone else lunges for him. And you see it basically on top of him, getting ready to maul him. Father Williams, what are you doing?
So, casting a prolonged spell and seeing how these things are happening, whenever he starts using the magic, the Necronomicon starts to slowly take over. And so he goes from kind of defiant, but pretty passive look and he starts smiling very big to the point where it starts getting like kind of that creepy like. And he says, "My friends can play too." As I start to change the game, and I start turning my light, and it turns to like this sickly green, and you start seeing my own shadow creatures start to form, and they start tackling and trying to like hold down and capture their shadows, essentially.
So what are you invoking for this change of the game?
I am going to go ahead and do Eldritch Knowledge, and Forbidden Magic. I think are the most prevalent because
I would say things that go bump is probably one as well.
Oh
right?
yeah, yes, definitely things that go bump.
Okay.
So yeah, let me execute. So that would be 2 or 3. I guess all 3
3
apply.
total.
All right. I'm gonna start to go crazy after this.
Holy
too.
cow. That is a 12. You guys are rolling insane. Except for Rory.
He's getting all the XP for the group, so it's fine.
Alright, so 3 juice. What are you doing here?
So I'm gonna create my own story tag, which is my own creatures, dark magic,
Okay.
and summon those. And essentially, they're going to try to apply a status to these creatures, essentially held down. So just something that other people can use to make it easier to like attack them. Is I'm basically trying to grapple with them.
Okay. You get so you're gonna put all 3 juice into that story tag. So it's gonna be a status 3.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what do these creatures look like?
So it probably anybody that's familiar with like Cthulhu's like mythos, they tend to have like the strange like eyeball like thing. So it'd probably be like kind of circular creatures with wings and then multiple eyes, like kind of eye stalks coming off of them. So this is like something that at this point you've probably never seen me do anything like this necessarily. But you also kind of look at these weird creatures and then you look at me and I have like this I can't talk. Manic look on my face. Like I'm ready to like go toe to toe with this girl, and the rest of you are like, we need to get out of here.
Yeah. And as you do get this manic look, you hear a giggle, and the girl says, "Oh, I think I like you." And then she proceeds to phase in through the wall. And you see this young girl. She's dressed in what looks like a hospital smock. Her feet are hanging off the floor. She's floating in the air. These writhing tentacles of darkness kind of moving around her. Her voice is still that weird echoey projection where it is at both this very high-pitched young girl, and she looks like she's maybe 14, and then this like deep dark presence inside of her voice. It's echoing almost like right out of sync with her voice. And she goes, "It's my turn to play." And she begins to sing. She begins to hum, and it's the same melody that you heard in the alleyway. And it is this despondent, really just, you're instantly find yourself crying and you don't know why. And she starts with the lyrics. "Sunday is gloomy, my hours are slumberless. Dearest, the shadows I live with are numberless." And she's going to invoke a status upon another story tag, which is Despondent 2. You all find yourself instantly filled with just like deep levels of despair. The worst parts of your life, the saddest parts of your life are kind of flaring up inside of you. And as she starts to sing and these tentacles start to move in. So who wishes to go next, and what the heck are you doing?
I'm going to try to beat the shadow dog, whatever, off of me, and move towards the door.
Okay.
Um,
So give
I'm
me another
going
go
to
toe to toe.
with Claymore, Unbreakable, um, heavy right hand, but I'm also going to use um, a flaw from the crew, flawed communication, because no one is really telling each other what we're doing.
Okay.
We're all kind of acting independent. So that'd
Absolutely.
be +2.
Yep. And it will draw attention to your crew tag. So go ahead and click that. Rory, this is not your day. This is not your
Never
day.
is. It never is.
I am going to invoke a. I'm going to invoke my own move specifically for you. So you go to throw this dog off, and you actually manage to get him off of you. But as you get him off of you, these tentacles of shadow sort of like wrap around you and pull you in, and instantly brings you back to the saddest day of your life. For just a split second, you're there. So tell us, what is Rory's saddest memory?
Um, I think you'll kind of see him sitting in like a green room, kind of beaten bloody for a bit. Mia's there cutting the tape off of his hands, um, and he's like, I could have had it all. Could have been a contender. Got nothing. What are we going to do now?
All right, so you are going to take the tag Despair 3. And it will not stack with the bruised. This will be a different one, because this will affect you in multiple ways, and bruised is just kind of a physical stat. All right. So Rory is openly crying and muttering something about being a contender, but he seems to be almost out of the fight at this point. Like he's struggling to stay in the moment. Who goes next?
I think
There's still a dog mauling Ambrose.
Lucius sees Rory on the ground, and I don't think Lucius has tried to do his short range teleport with anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna kind of hightail it straight for him and kind of grab onto whatever limb is as close to him as possible and try to short teleport just right into the hallway closer to everybody else, away from the danger.
Okay. So what are you using?
Will to succeed, short range teleport, and that's probably it. That's probably the best I can do.
Okay. So that will put you on a straight because of the despondent
Okay.
the despondent status that is going on in the story at the moment. So
And would this be face danger again?
This will be, you're not facing danger, so we'll call this a change the game.
Change the game. Okay.
And then who do I need to see about getting new dice?
All right, so you got an 8. So you get 1 juice. So you can either create a story tag, you can burn a power tag or a story tag, or you can reduce a status by 1.
I think I want to reduce my despair down to -1.
Okay, so you're going. Okay, so what does it look like as you grab Rory? Give me the cinematic of it.
So I'm just imagining him hightailing it as fast as he can, 20, 30, 10 feet, whatever it is, kind of slides down because there's papers and shit everywhere, grabs onto his ankle, and then just tries to trigger his teleport, and then just instantly sees himself kind of there next to or behind Father Williams.
All right, yeah.
And he just goes, "It works! It worked!"
Yeah, so you land right in front of the door, like in a pile, and just kind of a huff. And Rory kind of like shakes his head for a second, but he's clearly like not at his best at the moment. So who is going next? As the dogs stop and turn to look at you guys, and the girl starts to drift towards the sheet music that Lucius left in the corner.
I will go next, and I'm gonna go after the sheet music.
Okay. Give me a face danger.
Well, real quick, the sheet music I threw in the corner was not the one that we're worried about. The one that
is
we're
it
worried
not?
about
Okay.
in Rory's pocket.
Okay. So never mind. So the sheet music is in Rory's pocket then. All right.
So we should probably try to kick her
The
off.
one we have is the one we need is in Rory's pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I'm still headed towards the corner where Lucius did the sheet music. Because now I'm going to divert the malicious entities away from the rest of the group.
Okay. All right.
Still,
Yeah,
it's
that
a
will
face
still be a
danger,
face
right?
danger.
All right, so for this one, I'm going to add the tag wants the best.
I think big physical emotional presence is for this one too, because you're trying
Yeah,
to divert
big physical
attention.
presence. And looking at the crew themes as well, I'm trying to think of any of those apply here. I don't think they do. You guys do the +2. Wants the best in the big physical presence.
All right, and you'll be at a -2 because of the despair or the despondent story tag, so it'll be a straight roll.
Okay.
A 7. Okay. So yeah, you go to run past these dogs and jump to the corner, and they're snapping at you the whole time. And one does manage to close down on your ankle, giving you another numb 1 as it bites in, and you feel its coldness like drift into you. So that's going to make your numb status 2 at the moment.
Damn, Fido!
And it kind of like latches onto you. You get where you're going, and you grab at the papers, but it definitely got a good bite on you. All right, so Father Williams, what are you doing in this section of the scene?
So, with the sudden despair, I probably want to get out of there. Part of me, like, I'm in a weird, like, place where the two sides of me are actively fighting, I feel like. My human side is, like, get the hell out of here. Whereas my Mythos' side is, I want to know more about this thing because I am super interested and curious. So I almost feel like I'm having like an internal like struggle where I'm just like kind of like I look like I'm in a daze.
Okay.
And then in the process though, I'm going to Rory, are you still like on the ground? Like kind of did you finally get up and like fight the dog off or whatever?
No, he got tackled.
Yeah.
He got tackle boarded.
I feel like I would probably just walk up, grab you by the scruff of your neck, so to speak, like your shirt, and try to just start dragging you towards the door. It's like, we got to get out of here.
Okay.
But I will definitely take a penalty in the fact that I am barely hanging on, so...
Okay. So you're attempting. Are you attempting to like remove maybe some of this despair from him, or just generally trying to?
I'm just trying to get him out of the room. Like get him. Like we need to get this music out of here.
Okay.
And he has it. So
yeah. I think this is probably going to be a convince because you're trying to convince him to go along with you. Like clearly he's going to resist to some degree.
But also remember, I'm not that bright either. So
yeah. So I think you should roll a convince at this point.
Okay. And so the modifier is negative if I'm using a weakness.
Correct. It's a -1. So you're at you're I'm actually going to say because of your positive emotions that the despair aspect of this isn't bothering you. So I'm actually going to say that for you, the story tag is not a weakness at all. Like it just kind of you're kind of negative to it. But I do think that barely hanging on or easily overwhelmed, whichever one of those you want to use, is definitely a weakness that is coming into play right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say definitely barely hanging on because
Okay.
the internal fight is what's like I'm barely not going crazy at this
Okay.
point.
Are there any positive tags that you're using at the moment? And you can
If
use
I
survive the depths of despair to go with this because you've been here before. So those
yeah, that
will
makes sense.
those will negate each other out.
Okay, so I'll just be a flat 0.
Uh-huh.
Let's do this.
Okay. Rory, this is up to you. You can either take a status that he is going to give you, which will actually be a positive status at this point, or you can give in and go with him. Which one do you think Rory does?
I mean, how does he talk me into it? I mean, does he use logic, or like does he use
I
like
think he's
fast
using
talking,
physical. I think he's literally picking you up
Yeah,
and going,
I'm,
get the
I'm
hell
grabbing
up.
and it's like we need to get the hell out of here. We have a job to do. Like if anything, like I wouldn't use money because that's not something I'd be interested. It's like we have people that we need to save.
I think he's gonna kind of try to fight it because he is kind of prideful and he like wants to be the best, so he wants to kind of show that he is a warrior and wants to fight it. So he wants to fight these things.
Okay. So I think what happens is we will reduce your despondent down to -2. Since he is giving you a positive status, he talks you a little bit into it, but you're still kind of fighting him. Does that sound good?
That works.
Okay.
Uh,
All right, so Father Williams is basically dragging you along, screaming and kicking, and you're still kind of stuck in this moment. Like you are in this like you're still in the gym and you're struggling to get out of it as the song sort of intensifies and she starts moving past Tobias towards Rory when she kind of like realizes and as she's brushing by him, you hear Ambrose screaming once again as this dog is on top of him, and she takes her hand and she drifts it across the dog's body, and as she does, the dog lets up and Ambrose goes still, and she looks up at you and smiles and begins to sing once again. And who's up next?
I think at this point it circle back around to, well, not circle back around to, but
It's probably
that-
Rory or Lucius at this point.
yeah.
You know, I think Lucius is going to jump in front of Rory's turn order, if that's okay.
Okay.
And he sees the fighting back from Father trying to get him to go, and he's going to try to use his shapeshift ability. He remembers seeing a image in the gym of an old coach of Rory's that helped him get to where he's at. I'm going to try to shapeshift into him and give him a pep talk as I'm trying to get him to get the hell out of this hallway and snap out of it.
I love this so much. Okay. So what are you're using your shapeshifting? Obviously, what else are you going to invoke?
Authoritative.
Perfect.
And
I
maybe
think
a
sense of
of
belonging works here too. You're trying to get yourself back to the group. Like you're.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
So-
you're trying to help your group. So that's going to give you a base +1 because of the despair -2, despondent -2.
Okay. And is it a change the game?
This will be a change the game or a convince. I think this is a convince
Okay.
because you're trying to get him to get up and go. All right, so a 7. What does it look like when you What does it look like when you shape change? Like, what's the visual?
I'm imagining it's something similar to the teleport, but it's just plop, and it's somebody else. Almost like uh, a, a blink of an eye, and you would miss the change. But it was a quick poof. I'm picturing a 1970s Rocky old man. You get him, kid, and he grabs him by the shoulders, like, "Come on, you got to get up. You got to get up. People are relying on you. You got to get up. Get out of this room. You got people relying on you outside this building. Forget about these ghosts. Get out of here."
All right, so Rory, it's up to you again. You can either reduce your despondent back down to, or back down to 1, I guess, at this point, or you can go ahead and give in to this old coach now in your face. So you've kind of like gone from you're in the locker room to suddenly your old coach is like grabbing you and what the hell's wrong with you, son? Get up and go. What do you do?
Yeah, I'll start uh, turning and turning and running, I guess, because he wouldn't want to let him wouldn't want to let him down.
I have this feeling that in this moment, like, Lucius can't help it because he is who he is, and he's gonna turn around and look at Father Williams and give him this like really smug look, but as the coach, right? Like, there's kind of that moment of like, yeah, I got him to do it. What do you think, Nick? Is
We'll
it
see. I just
Oh, yeah.
hear the Rocky music playing all of a sudden. You start
Right.
hearing the montage music.
all right?
I give
So,
the father the finger guns.
Tobias, you are all the way across the room. You are now behind this woman, and she is moving in on your friends. You see Rory is up and running. Father Williams is still kind of holding his ground. His shadow tentacle monsters are tackling the other monsters, and you see a potential to get across, but you are going to have to go basically through her and her tentacles, which as she moves through, it actually kind of warps the light that Father Williams is holding. Like, you see it warp around her. So what are you going to do here?
Well, dug my way out of worse before. And I'm going to go straight out through her with the
Okay.
intent of getting out of the room, but also if I just throw her so far off because I'm literally like running directly through her path, and so be it. So would that be a face danger again,
Yep.
or
Yep, we'll call it a face danger. And I am going to invoke your weakness always stands out here.
I think that is totally valid.
So you can mark an attention on your personality, loud and proud.
So is there a way to make this a combo move?
Okay, so what are you thinking?
So while he's rushing, I see her like bracing to like maybe stop him. That's
Uh-huh.
why I'm gonna burn my magic, my shadow creatures, and they're gonna dogpile her to
Okay,
let him run
so let's
through.
do yours first. So roll your change the game first.
Okay. So that'd be, since it was a +3 effect, it'd be burning it for 3, I believe.
Yep.
How's-
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, so that's a 9. So you're gonna burn your power tag for +3, and we're gonna
Mhm.
give her the held down 3, right?
Yeah.
So these
Yeah,
guys
to
are
let
all
him get there.
lunging upon her. So Tobias, you start to move, and you see Father Williams like catch you moving. His monsters all like lift up from the shadow monsters and then just tackle her, and she is covered in these weird eyes and tentacles and God knows what else. Like, you actually see for just a second like this girl's face, and it stops being this terrifying being for just a second as you're passing by, and it is this scared, terrified girl's face, and the song stops. So you don't have the despondent for just a second. So roll your face danger. You're going to get a +3 to the roll because she is held down. 13. All right. You
As I run by for
blast
just a
past
second,
her, and like
I
I
will
said,
see
you
the,
just get this image of like there is a scared teenage girl in all of this, and
and at the
then
moment
you
I
are
start to feel bad, and
past.
at the last second I'm like, "Fuck them kids," and I keep running.
You are past and out the door. Father Williams, I assume you are moving as well.
Yeah, I would just be waiting, trying to get everybody out the door.
So here's a question: do you take the elevator or the stairs?
I
Absolutely.
feel like the
Why-
stairs is the smart play.
Well, let me check my notes. What floor are we on? 20?
You're on like the
21st.
I believe
21st floor.
21. That's
Yeah.
a bit of a drop.
Yeah. All right, so you guys hammer down the stairs and are moving absolutely as fast as you can. The how long would you say that your guys last when you're not there?
Probably not too long, so I would say we got maybe like a 30-second head start at best.
All right. So as you're running down the stairs, the darkness, you look up and you see just darkness descending upon you, floor by floor. For every floor you're dropping down, it is matching you. Like, and the song starts again, and it is turned from one of despondency to rage. There is sheer rage in this sound. But you manage to get down ahead of her, slam out the door. There's a crowd in this in the lobby, yelling at the manager, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Like they are clearly upset because the lights keep flickering. Do you guys stop at all? Do you do anything, or do you blast out the door?
Blast out the door.
I see them, and I was like, "Oh, my adoring fans!" And I kind of get a couple steps toward them, and I hear angry, and I'm like, "Those are not fans."
And the door kicks open, and the darkness kind of roils out. The lights in the lobby turn off. Everyone starts screaming and yelling, and you guys are out the door as fast as you can. And the valet just looks at you expectantly and holds the hand out for the card.
I hand him a cigar. I don't know.
I go, Lucius.
Yeah, Lucius he's at the key box and he finds the van keys inconspicuously and runs towards the van. He's clicking the alarm. He finds it.
All right, and yeah, you guys tear ass to the van. You still hear the commotion coming through, but you get the sense that like all of the people maybe have confused her because the darkness has not come out of the hall of the lobby yet. But you can still hear sounds of panic, and no one else has come out. And you guys get in the van and drive off. So let's take a second to see what everyone is saying while you're in the van, and then we'll fade afterwards. So what is this like? What does this last scene as the credits are getting ready to roll look like?
I know Lucius is going to have something, have a thought cross his mind because he's still kind of socially awkward, but he's going to remember the positivity and the things that Father Williams has tried to instill in him, and he kind of has a second to think about what about those people that were in that lobby? Are they still alive? Are they dead? Or what's going on? And he kind of looks back, and you just kind of see him ponder.
Okay. So Lucius is looking lost. Who's driving?
I guess I'll be driving because I'm the one with the car normally. I don't know if any other schmucks know how to drive.
Okay, so what?
We defers to Rory.
I'm really good on a bike.
Okay, so what? Tobias, as you're driving away, what are you looking at, thinking about, or saying?
One, driver picks music. Two, what the hell was that? Like, really? Like, how are we supposed to fight that shit?
don't
And
know
you
who
guys
else-
have absolutely never seen anything this powerful.
I think we best just worry about that when that becomes a problem. Hopefully, Lazaro knows how to deal with it. But
Okay.
I'm probably like Lucius. I have the same thoughts of like, I feel guilty and like part of me is like ready to like just let's turn this damn van around.
Yeah, it's definitely a somber scene as you guys are rolling out. And poor Rory, what what is Rory feeling in this moment of getting his ass thoroughly kicked?
Oh, I'm pissed. I'm supposed to be the best. I'm supposed to be like this great boxer, and I can't do shit against these guys. Like I've got my ass kicked twice today. Twice.
All right, so it is a somber moment as we go through, and let's hit the geeking out at the credit scene. So, first of all, did anyone pull their attention all the way to 3 on any of their statuses? Or I know somebody's are close, but
The crew's almost at full attention.
I'm at 1 on the hammer and 1 on loud and proud, and that's it.
okay.
Because gotta have it to use as one of the hammer's weaknesses.
All right, so let's start with how has the crew grown this session?
Well, apparently Lucius learned how to use his powers a little better now.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like you've grown closer as a crew, or did this drive you further apart?
I feel like it's definitely had us grow closer. We
Okay.
had.
Does
we had
everybody
issues
agree with that?
early going, but we
Yeah.
got it together in the end. I think we really showed up for each other.
Okay. So let's go ahead and draw that third attention to the cleanup crew tag if somebody wants to click that. And I would definitely say that you guys have done, you've gained a lot there. So we'll approach that later on. But let's talk to each of the characters here. So since we left off with Roy, we'll go ahead and start with Roy. Roy, you can answer a question. Do you feel the character had the most meaningful, or do you feel like you had a meaningful interaction with the character this session, or do you feel like one of your themes is under strain? Excuse me.
I think that maybe my refuse to bow might be a little understrained because I keep rushing in and trying to be the big beat stick, and I'm not being the beat stick right now.
Okay. So if this were to collapse, what theme do you think would show up in its place?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
All right. So why don't you mark a crack on your defining event? Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay. So, did you have a meaningful interaction with another character, or did one of your themes come under pressure?
I think I had a meaningful interaction with Father Williams.
Okay. How do you think? What do you think? Was it a help or a hurt?
A help, definitely.
Okay. What was that moment for you?
I would not have made it out of that apartment building alive had it not been for him sticking his hellhounds on the manifestation. So I think it was definitely a help.
Absolutely. Okay. So we'll mark a help on Father Williams on your sheet. Who wants to go? Father Williams or Lucius next?
I'm good to go either way.
Okay.
Go for it.
I think I'm starting to crack on Edge of Insanity because the more I cast, I feel like the more I'm going to start like losing my mind.
All right, so your struggle definitely was showing this time. I agree with that. Like it was definitely an interesting and hard moment for Father Williams here. All right, so that leaves Lucius. Did you feel like you grew closer to someone, or do you feel like one of your themes is struggling?
I think I grew closer because I had that interaction with Rory, kind of diving into his psyche and kind of extending myself to try to help him and get him snapped out of it.
Okay.
And I think that kind of stuck in his brain as an attachment or something there. So
Okay, so you're gonna put a help onto Rory.
yeah.
All right, guys. So what did you think? This is session number 2. Uh, any specific requests? Anything interesting?
I liked
I
it a
think
lot.
it's interesting to try to, because like at least in my case, my mythos has so much application to try to keep it on a level that's like not like trying to take over the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for me is that's something I'm trying to like balance. That it's like I want to make it interesting, but like I don't want to dominate by any means. For like because I feel like because of the power of it, it seems easy to
Yeah.
do that.
Well, and that's where you have like some adaptation is one of those abilities, right? It's like
Mhm.
it does allow you to kind of do a little bit of everything. Anybody else?
I had a lot
I,
of fun experimenting with our powers for the first time. I feel like
Yeah, this was the first time you guys really got to A, play with your powers, and B, deal with a threat that is as scary or scarier than you are. Hint, she's scarier than you are. Um,
much.
yeah. And I found it super interesting. This is the first character I've had that doesn't have like a weapon or a gun or a sword or it's. I was just diverting and buffing and helping the crew. That's all I was doing, and I liked stepping out of that mindset and trying something new. And this was fantastic. So
all right.
Yeah, I
Rory?
feel like
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say it feels like we're gonna be the support while we let all the actual hitting is the Tobias and Rory are gonna be doing that.
Well,
I
it's
don't know
very
about me so
interesting
much.
that, like, the hitty guys went to go hit the monsters, but nobody went to hit the girl. And understandable, it's a girl, right? Like, it's a 14-year-old girl. You don't want to go smash into a 14-year-old girl, but like, this is the scary thing coming after you guys, and that could have been a way to like end the scene, right? You could either escape or you could try to go toe to toe with this girl, which I can't tell you whether or not that would have gone in your favor. But like everybody instantly was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get away from this chick."
I've seen The Grudge too many times.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
um, we'll be back in 2 weeks, and I'm very excited to see what happens next time, guys. Thanks for playing along.
yeah, this is great. Thank you, man.
Fair.